This meeting is called to order on this Thursday, on the 21st, 2024. The time is currently 7:21 p.m. And welcome. My name is Ethan Norville. I'm the first Vice Chair of Community Board 9, and we're going to begin moving through our agenda today. I'm going to waive the rules of order, the reading rules of order for the meeting today, and we're going to go straight into our first item, which is an application to the New York City Board of Sentencing Appeals. Do we have anyone from 341 Troy Avenue here today?
Testing. All right, good evening, everyone. So the applicant sent a letter to the board office. I'm just going to read it. Apologies, I have a conflict that prevents me from coming to tonight's meeting. I tried to reschedule, but unfortunately, I did not receive enough notice. I sent him the invite for this yesterday, so he is fair and correct in saying that. I appreciate the time and consideration the board gave the application when I appeared and presented at the land use meeting on November 12th. As noted by the committee, the current application seeks minor interior changes to apartment sizes. We are not changing the size of the building, which was already approved by BSA. We acknowledge the committee's recommendation and hope the full board will ratify the same. On behalf of my client, we thank the board for its time and look forward to completing this project and continuing the work with the community. So that was the note sent from the representative.
All right. The next item on the agenda today, we have a few applications to the New York City Liquor Authority. We have Here LLC, also known as Silver Rice. Do we have anyone from Silver Rice here today? No. Test.
Test.
Hello, my name is Caitlin. I'm representing Silver Rice at 575A Flatbush Avenue. We're here for the renewal of our liquor license. We're open from 4:30 to 9:30 every night. We do mainly take out and delivery. We have just a very small selection of beer and sangria on our menu.
Just to clarify, this is a renewal of a license, this is not a new application, correct?
Renewal, yes.
Hold on, let me.
Yeah, we've been open for 8 years, since 2016.
We can take a couple questions. We'll take 3 questions, each limited to 2 minutes, if possible.
The attendant has the address for Silver Rice at 1066 Mill Street Avenue.
Yeah, that's incorrect. Beforehand. That is an error. Yeah, it's not Nostrand Avenue, it's on Flatbush Avenue instead.
Yeah, the correct address is 575A Flatbush Avenue. Yeah, that's just it. Yeah, thank you.
Let's go in the second location.
Coming soon.
575A Flatbush.
575A as in apple.
From 4:30 to 9:30.
Correct, yeah, so we're just a 5-hour operation, just for the dinner time. Yeah, we do our mainly takeout and delivery. We do all the delivery apps. We only have 4 seating in the restaurant with a small standing bar table on the side, so people who come in and eat, it's just like a really quick in and out, and then they're on their way. Yeah.
Do you respect the 8-foot limit on the sidewalk?
A lot of restaurateurs scoff at the 8-foot limit, and I hope that you're not one of them. But, you know, they think that the sidewalk belongs exclusively to them and not also to pedestrians. So,
Yeah, so I will say that we don't have any like outdoor seating or anything like that. We do have like a small bike rack for our own delivery drivers, but we do respect the 8-foot limit. Also, there's like a bus stop in front of our restaurant, so we are very mindful of that. We try not to. If there are people blocking the sidewalk, we tell them to move to the side or yeah, but usually that doesn't really cause an issue recently. So,
thank you.
thank you.
Take one more question. Okay, if none, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Next up, we have Troll Brooklyn LLC, 465 Avenue.
Hi, how are you? My name is Sarah Glick, and I'm here representing Pro Brooklyn LLC. We are a new wine bar located on the corner of Sterling and Rogers Avenue. New wine bar is located on the corner of Sterling and Rogers Avenue. Some of you may know me. I also own Brick's House Ice Cream Shop, also at 406 Rogers. We have we're only applying for a beer, wine, and cider license. Our hours are weekdays from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. and weekends from 5 p.m. to 11. We have a full kitchen offering an assortment of foods in addition to our beverage menu.
Do we have any questions? One, two, three. See over here.
So I want to know how many employees you have, and so I've been informed of the community. So how many employees do you have?
I'm sorry.
I was trying to ask. So I was trying to ask you how many employees do you actually have at the moment,
Employees.
and then I've been from the neighborhood.
Yes. So I was a resident of Prospect Leopards Gardens, which is how I came to the Brick's House spot and now the Trove spot. Currently, it is just my business partner and I that are running front of house operations, and we have 2 employees in the back of house, one of which that lives in Prospect Leopards Gardens as well.
Any more questions?
Are you gonna keep the ice cream license?
Oh yeah, of course. All year round this year.
My dog loves it.
So does mine.
All right, we'll take one more question. Yes, see you.
How long have you been open, and is this a new application?
This is a new application, and we actually received a community board waiver to go straight to the SLA. Our SLA liquor license has temporarily been approved, and we opened this past weekend.
Okay. Thank you for coming. Next up, we have Queen of Scots LLC. This is Fiona's.
Hello, my name is Adrian. I'm the owner of Fiona's Bar at 562 Flatbush Ave. We are a full-service bar with a small kitchen, and we are applying for a renewal of our liquor license, liquor, beer, wine, and cider.
Do we have any questions?
I just wonder how long have you been open? It's not current, right?
We opened in March of 2021.
See your question? Question two?
Hi, so I'm part of the public, an SLA, public safety, and just wanted to make sure for clarity, we haven't noted, you haven't noted here on your application that you're open until 4 a.m. The amendment stated in the notes that you would amend it to 2 a.m. Just a question for the board is, are you supposed to resubmit and then come here, then come for the board? And I think, so for the board, if we could just have clarification. Initially, for when she was at the SLA meeting, a public safety meeting last Thursday, we noted that it would be a recommended amendment specifically on the Thursday and Friday hours, where you have it noted until 4 a.m., where the application says 4 a.m. It's actually supposed to be 2 a.m. So if we could just have, I need the board to just clarify in regards to that.
If I may, my understanding was that my attorney resubmitted. I spoke to him this week and he said he did resubmit to assure that it was 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. every day.
So again, this just sits with the board, with her attorney resubmitting it in regards to that time. Is it okay for, and I'm sorry to speak of you while you're here. It's more clarification for our own purposes, because we weren't too sure if we were to come to this one, or it would be the resubmission, and then we would follow back up. That's really, it's just a clarification for, on a clerical level for public safety.
Yeah, from what I understand, we are able to move forward in the same month as long as the amendment, the hours in the amendment, correct?
Right. So we didn't approve it. We asked for the amendment to it and then the resubmission.
So the problem is now presenting it to the board without being approved by the committee. We never approved it.
Right. Because what was noted was upon amendment and resubmission. So that more sits on a clerical component for CV9.
Yeah, I want to say, sorry. So historically, when the applicant submits the amended stipulation, they're allowed to move forward.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
And once they satisfy the committee's requirement, they're allowed to move forward.
Thank you for the clarification. That's all. It was more of a clerical clarification that we needed.
I'll take 2 more questions.
I'm sitting there. How many people can you have accommodate? So I want to know what's your occupancy, and also what's your price range for drinks and entree appetizers, some food. What's the price range and what occupancy for?
Our DOB capacity is 72, and our price range is, we keep it low. Most of our food is shared plates, shared sandwiches, hummus plates, easy, snacking kind of food. We have a happy hour every day until 7. We have a $4 beer. I think our most expensive cocktail is $13. So we try to keep it low, and we try to keep food accessible to everybody, even our vegetarian friends and all that. But as far as pricing, we keep it reasonable.
Okay, one more question.
I just wanted to say thank you for hosting PBTC after AGSS. That's all.
Oh, you're welcome. I got to run that too.
I didn't run any this year.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, one more question. If not, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
And lastly, we have Red Chaconia.
Good evening. My name is Michael Campbell. I'm here representing Red Chaconia. We're located at 616 Flatbush Avenue in the corner of Chester Court. We're currently open, serving breakfast and lunch. Our hours of operation right now is from 8 till 4. We plan to go from 8 till midnight on the weekends, and during the week we'll go till 10:30. We seat about 12 people in the bar. It's a small space. We have a full menu, a full kitchen, and we're getting ready to start dinner.
All right, questions are welcome. Do you have any questions right now? 2.
Just wanted to say the food is great and we're looking forward to dinner.
I just wanted to know what were the dinner hours?
The dinner hours is going to be from 5 till, on the weekends, we're going to go till midnight. And on Sundays till 10:30, and during the week, 11 o'clock.
One more question? One second, hold on. No, hold on. One more question.
So, you're located on Flatbush Avenue?
Yes, at the corner, Chester.
Oh, okay, Chester Court.
Yeah.
And, you just, right now, you just have breakfast and lunch.
Breakfast and lunch.
So what would be the dinner menu?
The dinner menu will be a little variation from breakfast, a little sandwich mix, a burger, pulled pork, sandwich, simple.
Simple stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
One more question from Dominic. Dr. Baki.
So you are still junior, right? So are you gonna have music or what?
Background
Is
music.
that iPad? Is that
Yeah,
computer?
iPad, background music.
Is that live band or just plan? What's your plan on the long run?
Well, we're gonna just do background music, an iPad and simple music in the background.
All right, do we have any last questions? Okay, if not, thank you, appreciate it. That's it. Next up, we have our public comment period. Speakers who are on the speakers list may come to speak. First, we have Melanie Ortiz. Please speak.
Good evening, Chair Baptiste, Chair Morville, committee members, and attendees. I'm Melanie Ortiz, a hospital worker with a public health background. I understand the vital link between food security and health, especially for vulnerable populations. I'm here to advocate for Bill Intent 0536-2024, which aims to reduce food waste and tackle food insecurity in our city. Food waste and food insecurity are two of the most pressing challenges facing New York City today. The city generates over 1.3 million tons of food waste annually, costing over 100 million in disposal fees, much of which is still edible could feed many people. Simultaneously, about 1.2 million New Yorkers, including 339,000 children and 220,000 seniors, face food insecurity each year. This stark contrast highlights the need for immediate and innovative solutions. Bill Intent 0536-2024 presents a clear and impactful solution. It requires certain retail food stores to post notices on city-designated food donation web portal to advertise the availability of surplus food, arrange the transportation and retrieval of excess food, ensuring it reaches qualified donation centers or nonprofit organizations. This bill is sponsored by Councilmember Justin L. Brannon from District 47 and is overseen by the Committee of Sanitation and Solid Waste Management. The potential impact of this legislation is significant. Redirecting just 20% of New York City surplus food could provide 58 million meals annually to food insecure households. Additionally, reducing food waste can help decrease methane emissions from landfills, a greenhouse gas that is 25 times more potent than carbon dioxide, benefiting both public health and the environment. Retailers can gain federal and state tax incentives, adding economic value to their social contributions while supporting New York City's sustainability goals as it reduces waste, feeds families, and saves money. Bill Intent 0536-2024 is vital to a more equitable and sustainable New York City. Supporting this legislation will positively impact hundreds of thousands of New Yorkers while tackling critical environmental issues. I respectfully urge the committee to advance this bill to help prevent food waste and aid those in need. Additionally, please take a stance on this legislation and send a letter of support to the local council member. Together, we can build a city that shares resources and ensures no one is left behind. Thank you for your time and consideration. I am honored to present today and am happy to answer any questions or provide further details to support your decision-making process. Thank you.
Next, we have Caitlin Cruz. Next, we have Caitlin Cruz from Silver Rise.
You good?
Okay.
We can hear you. I don't know if the mic's not working well or something, but I can hear myself better just talking about the mic and hear you with the mic.
Yeah, I would ask everyone to talk into the mic like this. It's not the mic, just talk into the mic like this. Thank you.
Next, we have Adrian Wilcox. She already spoke. Next, we have Nick Smith.
Thank you. I'm here to serve legal papers against CB9, Dante, and Fred for violations of the law by refusing to respond to Freedom of Information requests. I am also filing the lawsuit against Borough President Reynoso for the same thing. Thank you.
I'm used to it. All right. I responded to the Borough request, but this is the game that she likes to play, so that's okay. I'm not worried about it.
What is the FOIL request?
The FOIL request was for information from applications for board members. So when you apply, all of that information, she wanted from CB9. We don't receive your applications when you apply to the Borough President's office.
Right.
All we receive is an Excel sheet basically that has your name, your address, your phone number, and when your term expires. That's it, and then we make communications to all of you. So, another lawsuit. I redact all of the information. I redact all personal information before it goes out. I can't speak to why someone would want the information. All I can do is my job and answer the FOIA request, which I did twice. So, here we are. Mr. Chair, please continue. Board members. Only board members, that's what was requested. But I redacted all.
Okay. Moving on to our next speaker. Next speaker is Sue Ann Chung. Suki. You're the next speaker. Pass it. Do we have? Do we have anyone from the General's office? Do we have Bianca Stevenson here from the General's office? Okay. Yes, Bianca Stevenson from the General's office?
Oh, it's time?
Yes, it's time.
Sorry, texting my office. Hi, good night, everyone. My name is Bianca Stevenson. I'm the representative here for Borough President Reynoso. Always nice to be here with you. I do not have too much to talk about today in terms of the talking points. I just want you all to know that the application season is upon us, and the application will be open by December the 8th. Those of you who have terms that are going to expire by March 31st, 2025, please make sure and reapply. I will be sending you all notices, and and please do spread the word as well. If you know anybody who's interested in applying to the board, please do so. So thank you so much, and have a good meeting. Oh, okay, hold on. The Board of Standard and Appeals training. Right. I did send the notice out. I actually don't have the information here, but I will send it out again for everyone. Yes, on the 5th. Yes. Exactly. So I'll send a blanket email to everybody with all the training.
So I have two questions.
Are the applications for community members or committee members, board members, or just? Board members. Yeah, we don't, your board deals with the committees, we just deal with the boards, the applications, yes.
Two more questions on that side.
When did you say you were going to send out emails?
For the applications within, we anticipate it will be open. There's going to be a little bit of changes, but it will open in about a week and a half. We're just fine tuning, and then we'll send out the notice telling all the people who need to apply that is open, and you can apply right there in the portal, submit it, which is the preferred route. If you want, you can send out a paper application, but preferably online.
Is that to reapply or to apply?
To reapply. In this body, it would be reapply.
Reapply.
Those who need to reapply.
And what is the expiration for reapplying?
It depends. It could be a 2-year term, or it could be a 1-year term if it's a midterm appointment, right? But usually, if you're already on the board, it will be a 2-year term, usually.
Right. And then expiration would be what?
2027.
Of what month? No, I'm saying yours. Yeah.
Oh, when will it close?
Yeah.
Okay, next year, from December around the 8th to mid-February, 2025.
To mid-February?
Yes, so you have about 3 months to apply, and then those of you who do have an expiring term, that would end on March the 31st.
Okay, and if we get one email, anything in the mail, or just email?
You're gonna get maybe 2 emails from me, or from Borough Hall rather, and then if you still haven't applied, then you probably send a notice to Dante. Yeah, to send it out, and some people still miss it, and then if you miss it, well, you miss it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have Andre Robertson for Open's office.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Andre Robinson. I'm from Council Member Crystal Hudson's office. She brings greetings. I'm not going to give a whole lot of information, just 2 quick announcements, but just in general, you can reach us at the office, District 35 at council.nyc.gov. My personal email address is arobinson@council.nyc.gov. Some people do reach out to me for constituent concerns, and they usually get their constituent concerns addressed and resolved. So if you do have something specific where I can help, please feel free to reach out to me. And our office number is 718-260-9191. Just two quick announcements. On Saturday, we'll be having our annual turkey giveaway. Thank you guys for putting it in the newsletters and for sending it out. So if you know of anybody in need, there's some flyers that are over here. It will be Saturday at the St. Francis de Sales School for the Deaf from 11 to 2. So you can come out there. There'll be a number of community organizations that will be resourcing. You'll pretty much be sitting in the auditorium. You'll get a ticket number, and you'll go downstairs and get, you know, the turkey and all of the fixings that are there. Okay? And then the second announcement that I have is that we are doing a virtual constituent service workshop with DOB, you know, in regards to some of the new building code questions. There was a lot of like local law updates, you know, the parapet law and everything like that. So you can come onto that Zoom and you can get your questions answered by the individuals that work within the space within DOB. So that flyer is also over here. I gave it to, I'm also going to send it to Community Board 9 to be able to send out as well. Okay?
When is that, sir?
So that's going to be on December 10th, and it's going to be from 6:30 to 8:30. So it'll be virtual, so that, you know, you can, you know, sign on to the Zoom, and they'll do a presentation, and then they'll have like breakout rooms to be able to answer questions. Okay? But there are flyers over here on the side, so before you leave, just, you know, pick up a flyer, and you can actually register so you can get this Zoom link. Thank you.
Are there any comments about the rezoning approval that Crystal Hudson recently?
I'm sorry, so is there any comments about?
Comments about the rezoning approval that Crystal had voted in favor of at the city council?
Which rezoning
The
items?
962 Preston Avenue rezoning application that should recently approved.
I have no comments, or she hasn't given me any comments to say to the public, but I definitely bring that point to her and just let her know that, you know, Community Board 9 would like to hear from her in regards to those points, so can definitely do that. Absolutely, so, just, you know, I was on the Zoom for the land use for that particular one, did kind of get a little stuck and couldn't hear too much, but I did read over your stuff, so I do have some questions about some of the comments that were made. So we'll connect and, you know, we'll be able to kind of get a little bit more clarity on some of the things that was addressed within that presentation. Just in general, if you don't see me, 9 times out of 10, I do check the Zoom or the YouTube to be able to kind of see what's going on so that I'm abreast of what's happening here in the community board, okay? Thank you so much.
You're aware of the Cloak Road, Melbourne issue?
The one, I think it's 975 North Street, they'll come out, so I am aware of it. I now also was reading on that, so if you do want me to, you know, also speak to her about that, I can as well. Okay?
Do we have any more elected officials or representatives who have not yet spoken? Do we have any more elected officials or representatives who have not yet spoken today? Yes. So at this point, we're going to start the business session. Secretary, please follow the roll.
Good night. Abdul. Nicholas Bamanar. Fred Baptiste. Rabbi Yaakov Berman. Augustine Latwell. Augustine Latwell. Catherine Pacheco. Catherine. Suki Chum. Kendall Christian. Jolie Cobb. Max Cohen. Eve Cohen. Saul Carey. Max Davidson.
Present.
Candace Edwards. Brittany Ellerton. Lisa Etienne. Rafaela Godet, Bishop Sylvester Hamilton Gonzalez, Shauna Hartley, Rod Herbert, Yusuf Perskoff, Volney Joseph, Renisha LeBerry, Maida Legote, Israela Herb, Francisco Leopold, Courtney Lozelle, Courtney, Letwin Mavana, John Renee, Victoria McGee, Ethan Norville, Denzel Adoro, Yankee Pearson, Vanessa, Yunella Ron Perry, Felice Robertson, Vinnie Rosenberg, Vinnie Rosenberg, Leon Sapp, Leon, Melissa Severe, Lillian Sween, Bakari Kadia, Christine Thomas Barrington, Joshua Thomas Serrano. Debbie Timothy. Twyla Weir. Linda Watson, that's me. Miss Teresa Lasterdon. Lorianne Wilson. We've got a total of 27 members, so we've made quorum. We've got 41 on our board, so we can go ahead with the 48 on board, 27 present tonight, so we can got quorum tonight.
Okay, since you have quorum, the first order of business here is approving minutes from October 2024. Do you have any corrections to the October 2024 minutes? Yes, we do. That's some corrections. Cindy, you can go ahead.
On roll call, it should be an excuse not absent. Timothy. For you? Okay.
Let's go.
I was here last meeting, Charlie Cohen was present last meeting.
Also, Ben was present as well.
I was also present from last meeting.
My name is just spelled correctly. My last name is spelled Severe, like severe weather. That's it.
Can you repeat that one more time?
Wait, say that again?
Okay. Do you have any for?
So let me just make sure that so we are on the safe side. To be marked present, Lorianne Woolsey. To be marked excused, Debbie Timothy. To be marked present, Vinnie. And E. Coy. Okay. I think I gotta give a small explanation why so many people seem to be absent. It was just a matter of like moving something. So when I had to add one member, I was moved down everybody. But I forget to move down the check on the present and absent side. So I'm sorry. It wasn't that you weren't present, you weren't here making the right word.
Do you have a motion to approve? Do you have a motion to approve the changes to the minutes? Okay. Moved by, seconded by Lisa. Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. All right, the motion carries. The next item is committee reports. Do we have any committee chairs here who have a report to give?
From land use, I just want to make a note that there is an amended version of the resolution on 341 Troy. There's copies on the table. And I guess during the business session, during the vote, we'll introduce the amended resolution.
Any other committees who have not sent in a written report would like to present here now? Okay. And now we have the district manager's report. Mr. Dante.
All right, good evening, everyone. All right, so one of the advisories, public notice, let me show you, I actually have the loading zones. I created this flyer. Okay, so the installation of loading zones in Community District 9. Per local law 168 of 2021, DOT is required to create at least 5 loading zones annually in each neighborhood tabulation area that meets the publicly available methodology, provided that at least 500 new loading zones are created citywide annually through 2024. DOT is required to report on its progress toward implementing these loading zones and publicly post the locations of all loading zones citywide, which can be found on their website. The term loading zone includes neighborhood loading zones, truck loading only zones, and commercial metered parking. The proposed locations in our district are as follows. One's going to be installed on Clarkson Avenue between Bedford and Flatbush Avenue, approximately 41 Clarkson Avenue as an address. The next will be installed on Crown Street between Franklin and Washington Avenue, 35 Crown Street, approximate address. The next will be installed on Midwood Street between Utica and Schenectady. 806 Midwood Street is the approximate address. We will continue to blast this out in the e-blast. If you use your QR code, it will go right to the DOT's portal for you to comment. We'll continue to blast it out so folks can comment on those locations. We have received a couple of construction notices. There will be partial sidewalk and parking restrictions basically between now and mid-December throughout the district. So follow our e-blast for those construction notices. There is also rehabilitation of pedestrian ramps throughout Crown Heights, mostly North Crown Heights, but But there are some in South Front Heights, so we'll continue to put that in the glass as well. And there are water main installations that have taken place throughout the week. The final installation is tomorrow at the intersection of President and Albany. During the water installation, there should not have been any water shutoffs. We haven't received any complaints, so the water should not be shut off tomorrow as well. Let's see. Landmarks Preservation Commission has noticed a public hearing for 203 Maple Street in PLG in our district. The application is to replace windows. That public hearing is going to take place on November 26th at 9:30 a.m. That will be held at 1 Center Street, 9th floor. There is also a public hearing for an LPC application at 25 Maple Street as well. We will have both of them in both of those in the e-blast, so feel free to click it and then it will show you the full document so you can get the information accordingly. The Department of Youth and Community Development will be holding a public hearing that will take place on Wednesday, December 4th at 3 p.m. at 2 Lafayette Street, the 14th floor in Manhattan. This will be via Zoom. The public hearing will be an opportunity for the public, but especially youth, to share with government agencies their issues, concerns, and what support they feel that they need from the agency. Individuals will be called in the order that they register. We'll have 3 minutes. On June 24th this year, Local Law 71 lapsed into law. Local Law 71 of 2024 amends Article 323 of Title 28 of the Administrative Code regarding periodic inspections of parking structures to increase the frequency of parking structure inspections. We've seen structures collapse throughout the city, so if this is something of interest to you, it will be in our e-blast as well. And as we continue to see development throughout this district, I think it's prudent that we pay attention to inspections of these facilities. The Community Education Council will be holding public meetings on the Department of Education and School Construction Authority's proposed November 2024 amendment to the FY 25-29 capital plan. The CECs will hold those public meetings all the way through January. We will put those hearings in the e-blast as well. Just on a more administrative note, we have leaf bags in our office, so if you want leaf bags, we have a flyer, so come by our office and get them. We're trying to limit 2 per household because we want everyone to be able to get them, so just reach out to the board office and we can get that for you. I always encourage people to sign up for the e-blast. If you know people who are looking to get connected not only to the community board, but to information, to government agencies, we send out a lot of information, so definitely connect them to our board office so we can get them signed up. We also received a notice from the MTA that there is planned work along the 2 and 3 this weekend, so there will be no trains between Flatbush and Franklin Avenue. So we'll make sure to have this in our e-blast as well. And then my final note is the meetings have been moved up for the month of December. The executive meeting for CB9 will be on the 16th, and the general board will be on the 19th of December. Okay, and I think that's it for me.
Where are the meetings going to be?
Which ones?
The ones in December, the board meeting session.
The exec will likely be at the board office, and then I believe that I put the permit in already for MS 61. Just got to confirm that because we weren't able to use it for October and November, but I believe it will be at MS 61.
Any more questions? Any more questions for Alicia Meredith?
Okay, so how do we get these notices? I know you send out e-blasts for each one of these, but sometimes when you do a general review and consolidating it, we know that this is what you spoke about in the meetings. I know that we brought up having these included in the board reports. Is that something that we can revisit? Because I think it would be really helpful. That way we can plan in advance versus the e-blast are coming consistently. They're also a lot to kind of track through. That way we know which ones are most important and the ones that you spoke like in person about. Is that something that we can revisit?
Yeah, that's something we can revisit. I'll figure out how to best get information to you all, and then I'll do it. But definitely, that's something we can revisit. That's fine.
Yeah. Seeing no other question with Mr. Manager, we can move forward. Chairperson's report. I'm going to waive the chairperson's report today. But I will note that the board is taking some action to make it easier for people to know when meetings are happening, where they're going to be, so that we'll be able to, have a more timely and more cohesive way to plan, so that you can, attend more regularly and be surprised by last-minute location changes and stuff like that. So we are going to have some solutions for that in the future, in the very near future, and we're also trying to make sure that they're easier to get. So maybe it might not be email, it might be something else, but preferably phone. But we're going to see how we can make information easy for everyone to access, so you can come to these and not be surprised or confused. Yes.
Please, when the board office sends a calendar invite, please respond to the calendar invite. Preferably don't reply, respond to the calendar invite, because it tells us who's going to be here, who's not. It gives us an idea ahead of time if we're going to have a quorum or not, so we can kind of move things around accordingly with the logistics. All right, thank you.
All right. Next, we have our voting items. The first thing on that is, hold on a second. That was a correction to the committee minutes here, the committee minutes for youth education. The education town hall on Saturday, March 5th needs to be corrected to April 5th. That's going to be corrected, and that's the announcement. All right, so on to voting items. We have our SOA applications. They're up first. We have a motion. All four SLAs?
All four SLAs by common consent.
Motion fails.
We would like to make the committee, the safety committee opposes common consent for all four SLAs.
Noted. Okay. That's okay.
your applications is for, and we're not, we're not voting on 4 a.m. So it is an issue. 4 a.m. is coming up quite a lot now. There were 2 applications that we didn't vote on for that reason. What we would consider reasonable, right? But it also does depend on whether it's a commercial area or residential area. Commercial area is, understandably, we would allow them to open up later than the residential area where there's families and children.
Okay, 1 second. We're going to move on. And we'll limit questions to the specific SLAs when you get to them. Okay, so first, Silverrise. Are we able to approve Silverrise's application by common consent? Recommendation on the floor. Do we have any opposition to that? Any opposed, say no? The second SLA before us is Charlotte Brooklyn LLC. Do you have a motion to adopt the committee's recommendation to approve the SLA by common consent? Any opposed? Okay. The next SLA is Queen of Scots, DBA Fiona's. These hours were amended to 2 a.m. as opposed to 4 by the community.
It was recommended in the notes that it was to come back to the committee before that it came to the board. And although her lawyer did put the application back in, the full amended application was supposed to come back and be presented back to the board so that we would not have this clerical error. And she presented today, and that's where we're first now hearing in regards to, as Mia stated, in historical reference. But our notes, and what the board did not vote to move forward with it, with the amendment, we did not vote on it. We had asked for it to be amended and to be presented back to the board, even though it's a renewal.
Is there a motion to refer this back to committee? Steve. As a separate motion, you can amend the motion to be different order. But amendments. So we have a motion on the floor to approve or disapprove this SLA before us here. Do we have any opposed to that? Do we have any opposed to approving this SLA? Yes. Okay.
How many members would like to approve the application? Raise your hand. How many would like to disapprove the application to the back to the committee?
Ms. Cohen said that the committee did not vote to send it to full board, am I correct? Right, so that would mean there isn't technically a recommendation here at all to vote on. So, yeah. Typically, yes.
Essentially, motion to table this,
Essentially, yeah.
It's in order, and it's not debatable, and be voted on without voting on the prior motion.
Right. That's okay.
So my question is, are we motioning to table it? Because it's a clerical error that sits more on CB9 and not on the actual applicant. So just to note that the applicant followed back up with what needed to be done, which is a resubmittal on the error of just, I believe, the Thursday and Friday evenings. In the meeting, they stated that they would only be doing 9 to 2 from what they spoke of, but what's noted on the application is 9 to 4. Excuse me, until 4 a.m. 1 p.m. to 4 a.m. Correction. They were then stated to resubmit, specifically to correct that error, in which she said earlier this evening the lawyer did represent, but she wasn't supposed to be here at this meeting because we had not voted on it, recommended her to resubmit. So it sits more that she came without the clarification that should have come from CP9.
Understood. So it's been voted to committee?
It's vote to table it. It should come up in our agenda for public safety SLA for next month.
Okay.
Just point of preemptive, is the only issue of concern that for a is that the only issue of contention? Correct. Or the applicant, for a
Okay. Okay, so that SOA has been sent back to committee. It's tabled until next month. Okay. The next SOA is Red Chiconia. Yes, sir. Yeah, we can.
Why would we have an application with a signature of a applicant? If we could just vote different information. And why would we have a public safety committee? That's the case. Yeah, no, we gave them a directive. We told her to correct it, come back to us.
That's the correct way to do it. Kill it, then we bring it back to the White House.
Okay. Understood. And the vote has been completed, so it is going back to committee. Okay. So to begin the SLA vote for Red Chiconia.
Can I just say one more thing? I think it also provides a precedent that if an applicant comes and wants to put 4 a.m. and then 2 doesn't fly, and then says, oh, no, okay, we're going to open up for 2 a.m. We want to show, okay, you want to come back again and be approved again with us because don't play that game. Tell us what time you're going to be open back and then go back to us the next time.
Okay, it's time for us to move on. Let's move on to the SLA for Red Chiconia. We have a motion to approve the committee's recommendation on Red Chiconia's SLA application. A second? Okay. Seconded by Reason. Do we have common consent to approve this application?
Which one?
Okay. All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, please say no. Okay, the motion carries. Yes, that vote already happened. That's a yes. Next item is going to be the BSA application for 341 Troy Avenue. We will take questions. So if you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll get to you.
I just want to first make a motion to introduce the amended resolution. There are copies on the table there, but if you want, I can read it. It's up to you.
It's been moved. Do we have a second?
Could you just read the part that's amended instead of the whole thing?
So the section that was amended, actually, let me get the copy of the amended resolution. So the amended version reads in the second paragraph, however, we are concerned about how long it has taken the applicant to start construction since the original variance was granted in 2010 and why we should be granting repeated extensions of time to complete construction. Since the original grant, no construction work, including the environmental remediation, which was the condition for which a variance was granted, has been completed or even commenced. Committee members wondered whether the difficulties cited by applicant with raising money during the recession of 2010 were something that should have been accounted for by the hardship analysis under the original variance grant. And then the third paragraph was eliminated. So it's just removing language that we felt was unnecessary. This is the amended variance. This is the amended.
Do you have a second to amend the document? All right, let's see if you second the rest of it.
So this is an application that came before the committee for a change in plans to a Board of Standard and Appeals variance. I had originally seen them in 2022 when they were seeking an extension of time to complete construction. But the application actually goes all the way back to 2009 when the board first heard the application. They were seeking a variance to go from essentially zoning that would allow them to build townhouses on a 16,000 square foot lot to one that will allow them to build a 5.5-story apartment building. A 5.5-story apartment building. So back in 2009, CB9 had initially just approved the variance because they felt it was out of character with the area, and the Board of Standards and Appeals subsequently reduced the variance grant slightly, got approved. They went through various iterations, they've been to the board probably about 5 times now, asking for various amendments, extensions, and so the site has remained vacant over the years, and that was a concern when they came to the board in 2022, was when they were going to be finished with construction. And it also just, you know, in light of everything that's been going on in this community, where in 2015, the city passed mandatory inclusionary housing, and generally speaking, sites don't get large increases in zoning without affordable housing since 2015. So this kind of stands out as an unusually large increase in zoning without any affordable housing. It is pursuant to a different process than a rezoning because there was an environmental condition on the site, which is, again, something that we were concerned about, whether proper remediation was going to take place. And so that basically, we felt that we should approve the application so that something could get built, the site could get cleaned up, but, you know, we did have a lot of concerns about how this happened and why this happened and what we want to see in the future. We did not, so right now, I don't think, you know, they have, they've filed plans with the DOB, but I don't think any work has commenced. The applicant says that they're ready to start now because they've gotten financing, but I guess we'll see. They have a construction deadline of 2026, and we've said that, you know, we're not looking to grant further extensions. They came to the BSA seeking changes to the original plans. They were making some of the apartments a bit smaller and adding 2 extra apartments with the extra space. So, no, the variance process does not mandate that.
So let me ask you, if they continue the extension, that guarantees that it should be developed versus if they don't get an extension, it would be handed to somebody that may have to abide by it at my age. Basically, an inclusionary affordable housing.
If they didn't get the extension and they wanted to get a rezoning of and they wanted to continue to upzone the site as opposed to building as of right, then their other option would be to go through a rezoning process. And I mean, but also now that City of Yes has passed, City of Yes would also automatically upzone that site, and also without affordable housing, because in lower density districts, I don't believe there's any mandate for affordable housing. So, they were reconfiguring it so that some of the largest apartments are getting smaller, and the largest apartments are getting smaller. I think they're going down from like 3,200 to 2,200 or 2,400, and the extra space is going into 2 additional 2-bedroom apartments that are 1,000 square feet each. You know, we really don't know. You know, we really don't know. It came back for an amendment to add more, and, you know, we knew that no work had been done since 2022. You know, in 2022, they came to us and said, well, because of COVID, we hadn't been able to start since our last extension in 2018, and so we figured, okay, now you're going to start, and they hadn't done any work, and so, you know, when they were coming back to us, you know, we thought it was time to find out what was going on here. That's not our deadline, that's the BSA's deadline from the last grant.
And so if we give them a new, or if they get a new grant, we didn't do that.
No, it's still a 2026 deadline.
I believe that location was formerly a gas station, is that correct?
Yes.
Right? So has there been an audit from the DEP in regards to soil?
They told us that they were working with the Mayor's Office of Environmental Remediation, which I believe does provide assistance to applicants to clean up a site. I think it's like free soil removal and free soil replacement. Kind of another thing that had us wondering, because the original reason for the variance was cleanup, but if some of that is going to be free, but anyway, so that it would be the Mayor's Office of Environmental Remediation that would be required to sign off on this, I think.
I think it shows that they're not here this evening in regards to having an aspect of a representative to answer a lot of those questions. And we noted that it has been grandfathered in, and then of course also with the city of Yes and the aspect of affordability. Our neighborhood is being inundated and our community is dealing with this in an unfortunate aspect. What are your recommendations in regards to us outside of the aspect of what we had asked for, what has been amended on this? What's the recommendation that you make to the board?
Our recommendation to the board was if they've not completed construction by 2026 and, done the cleanup properly, and that's really going to be on those of you who live close to the site to make sure that that's being done correctly in conjunction with the Mayor's Office of Environmental Remediation. That's something that we want the BSA to make sure of, and also to let them know that if it comes up again for extension, we would not approve that. And if similar applications came up asking for such large grants, we would not be seeking to approve that either.
You have one more question?
Yes. I wanted to ask you, because so what are they trying, they want to add extra floors and they want to make apartments smaller. Am I correct?
No, they're not changing the exterior, the size of the building. They're just reconfiguring the apartments inside the building.
All right, so none of the apartments that they are doing or refiguring will be affordable for anybody that live in the area?
No, it's all market rate.
Okay, so then why are we even, because our neighborhood is being, like she said, invaded with apartments that nobody in the neighborhood could afford to live in, so why would anybody approve that? Because somewhere along the line, it's got to stop.
Yeah, so there's
we're gonna have more homeless than we have anybody.
So there's
and gentrification is not acceptable. So now what are we doing?
Yeah, so there's two separate processes. One is called a rezoning and one is called a variance.
Right.
And with the variance process, the conditions are that they can get a change in zoning based on a unique site condition that's not caused by some action of theirs or somebody who owned the site before, and that they have to ask for the minimum relief necessary for them to earn a reasonable return on the site. So the unique site condition that they claimed to the Board of Standards and Appeals was the soil contamination from the previous gas station use. So the variance does not mandate affordable housing in exchange for an upzoning. It simply asks that they present a financial analysis and only grants them the amount of upzoning that they need to make a quote-unquote reasonable return given the site conditions. In a rezoning process, they would have to come to us as a community, have a public hearing, etc., and we would negotiate with them. So the original zoning is R4, which allows for them to do like about 0.75 to, well, okay, so just to make it a little bit simpler, they could do maybe like 9 townhouses, going up to being able to do 26 condo units. Before the change, it was 20, their first variance grant was 24, and now they're going to 26. Yeah.
Do you have any more readiness, or are you going to call the question?
So my understanding from what was said during our meeting was that the Board of Standards and Appeals decided not to grant the community facility space because it would increase the overall size of the building, and they thought that that was too much.
Okay. I think we can close the speakers list. Yeah. All right, let's call the question. Do we have a motion to approve this resolution from the Legal Committee? You have a second? Approved and seconded. Okay. All in favor of approving the amended version of the recommendation from the ULO Committee, please say aye. All opposed, please say no. Okay, the motion carries. Do you have any abstentions? Okay, 4 abstentions noted. Please state your name for the record. Okay. The application has been approved. The amended version of that recommendation has been approved so far. The next item on the agenda is the Clove Road curb cut from Savannah Ocean Avenue. That's a committee that I chair, so I'm going to explain that to you. But I'm also going to pass the chair to Mana Laguze while I explain this one. So the Committee on Transportation has been in pretty deep communication with the public and with those who live on Clove Road and Malbone Street, because the 975 Nostrand Avenue building has a pretty good shot at changing their entire street system, the streetscape right now. Part of the plan includes putting in a supermarket in the building that's currently being built there. And the proposed parking lot location would enter and exit on Clove Road, which is a road that's historically been much quieter than it will likely be after installation. So DOT, in communications predating the board, this issue here, DOT's made a list of recommendations, list of requirements actually, for this curb cut to be ideal and approved. And a lot of the recommendations include pretty significant investments into the streets, the sidewalks, the signage back there, because there'll be increased amounts of traffic. And of course, there should be some provisions made to make sure that the community in that area doesn't get adversely affected. Now, of course, we invited the residents to come and speak to us as a committee in our meeting for this month on this issue. And ideally, first off, they disapprove the curb cut because they would rather the entry not bring that much traffic to them and be placed elsewhere. And in the recommendation the committee made, we included that sentiment, and we actually also added a few things that would help that area have a bit more of what they need. So DOT recommends that they, rebuild the sidewalk, maintain the street, add stoplights, add a stop sign, add street paint so that people are aware that they can stop before exiting onto Empire Boulevard. But there's also another provision that the community asked for, and it was generally to have a big separation between Malbone and Clove Road. That way people don't enter the supermarket from Malbone Street, which would turn that intersection into a much more busy, much more unpredictable situation for a formerly quiet area.
So they're entering south of Nostrand,
Yeah. Yes. Historically, people would have entered Associated on Australian going south, making a left. That seems to not be the case anymore. Now, what the plan seems to be is people would enter on Clove Road, you'd make a right off Montgomery Street into Clove Road, travel down south, and then enter the supermarket. And the community is also asking that people don't have the option of going up New York Avenue, making a left on Malbone Street, and going into the parking lot that way too. But yes, generally the entrance is expected to now be on Clove Road, making a right off Clove into that parking lot.
As I mentioned previously in last month's meeting, and when they were here, one of the call-outs that they made is, although we made these recommendations from the DOT, they had not done a significant audit in regards to student pathways. And I did call out, as someone who utilizes that space, and I use that not necessarily close on Malbone Road, but what I do utilize on Empire, what and the Empire between New York and Clove Road. I get Clove Road and Malbone and stuff, but stay with me, Seventh Day Administration, the left gas station, etc. What I have found very often, as of right now, without the heavy amount of traffic, is that it is in zone of high speed, no matter what time it is, and that there's also a congestion, because there is a commercial business there that is currently a tire shop, and that already creates just a level of congestion in regards to the type of service that's being placed. Add to the aspect of this new building, which I'm also sometimes in awe as to how this was approved. And the New York Times did an article 3 weeks ago in regards to how many of those spaces that are within that building have been grandfathered in just due to DOT and parking regulations, but how this had been approved with the aspect of routing cars to it, which has broken down as Malbone Road and Clove Road is in regards to how it's paved, and how it has been notoriously used as a cutaway and path that many drivers do not pertain to the current traffic rules and regulations that there. There's already a stop sign there that very often gets avoided and or not taken, no one takes into account, placing many pedestrians at any time of the day, and there's a school across the street in Dayton. So I'm just sort of trying to figure out how we've allowed this building to be closed. And then they come to us afterwards and say, oh, by the way, we need a route for our cars to come into this building.
It's exactly the sentiment the committee had. It's exactly the problem we have with the entire thing. The whole process didn't seem like it made sense.
And she didn't have enough answers previously. And one of the call-outs that were made when the representative was here was, oh, I don't get a DOT audit. A DOT audit should have been part of the package previous to that. And we are already living in a city where very often haphazard driving has increased because the accountability aspect and the time in regards to if even authorities or legal authorities come upon the scene has decreased and declined. So there's also the aspect of many are recklessly driving because the accountability and the points aspect doesn't align with it. So I bring this to you because it is a safety issue for pedestrians, let alone the exhaust issue for the residents that reside there. So those are, it's an environmental component, it's also a health component and a safety component that, you know, I would like for you to please also understand what we are thinking. But just as an actual person within the space, this is something that I'm shocked at, but it's something that happens many times with developers. It's these pseudo caveats that come about that then put us in jeopardy, and then we have to sit. So I leave while we screw over with no stick grease or butter.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the same sentiment we had in the meeting. The public had the same opinion. I agree. The committee agrees. And that's why we're disapproving it.
There's elderly that they go to the food pantry twice a week, that's on Empire, and they have to be accounted for, and people already drive recklessly coming into the gas station.
Yeah. And the exit from Clove onto Empire.
Let's not even count how recklessly the police officers
Okay, we just have to hold questions until he's done. Sorry, thank you.
Yeah, so a big part of it is maintenance of that street and the surrounding area, and just general traffic improvements so that it's not as dangerous when there's more traffic coming. But it is generally a disapproval with a list of things that we need to see for it to make any sense for us, because people often see developments come through and leave communities worse than they found them. And in this case, we're trying to at least make sure that this developer comes through with some kind of improvement to the area of some sort, so that it's not left more dangerous, less upkept, and overall a harder place to live in. Any other questions? Comments?
Any other questions or comments? We need to vote since we need to be out of here by 8 o'clock, by 9 o'clock.
I just want to say that I did go to the meeting, the Transportation Committee meeting for this, and that the outcry against this was wide-ranging. A lot of people that live in that area showed up, and they were very disappointed that they weren't able to come to the committee meeting. They weren't able to comment because the comment period fell for them to do anything about it during their high holy days. So that was very disappointing. So they were left just to come to this community board, transportation meeting to make themselves heard. And it was a large amount of people, like one of the bigger meetings I've seen in a while. So I just want to emphasize that we need to represent them and vote against it.
Thank you. We've been trying to make a point to have a lot more of the public in our committee meetings and focus on listening, and we've been doing that.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? We have to move quickly since we're supposed to be out of this space at 9 o'clock. Are we ready to vote? Yielding the chair back to the first vice chair.
Thanks. Do we have any motions to approve the committee's recommendation on the Clove Road curb cut? Well, it's to approve the disapproving recommendation on the Clove Road curb cut. Yes, we have a motion on disapproving the Clove Road curb cut. Motion moved from Benny, seconded from Aguze. Okay. Can we approve this by common consent? Okay. Any abstentions? Do we have any abstentions? Seeing none. Do we have any opposed? Okay. Yeah, the motion carries. And the next item is the Transportation Committee's recommendation on school safety plan changes from DOT. That's also a motion that is from my committee, so I will take a second. So, over the past few months, you've probably seen Transportation Committee's feedback sessions on the bike lane and school safety plan from DOT. They've been presenting that since June, or since May, I believe, and the committee's been having a lot of feedback sessions, at least one a month, to get the public feedback on it, to field ideas and get proposed changes from people, as well as to see what would work and what wouldn't work in the district. And there's been a lot of feedback so far. There have been surveys done. We still have an ongoing survey that will continue indefinitely until further notice. And essentially, it's an almost district-wide bike lane expansion. It's mainly on Kingston and Brooklyn Avenue, south of Empire Boulevard. And there are 3 main changes that the committee has put forward so far to that to make it work better in this area. And the first change is to omit the pieces of the bike lanes above Lefferts Avenue, because the streets get narrower above Lefferts Avenue, and it wouldn't. Yeah, to eliminate the bike lane proposals between Empire and Lefferts on Kingston and Brooklyn Avenue, because the streets get narrower, and the bike lanes are protected, which means there would be no way to pass someone if they stopped or pulled over on the side. That's not workable here, the committee decided. So that's the first change we've proposed. And the second change we've proposed is adding rumble strips as well as a widened buffer to the protected bike lanes on Kingston and Brooklyn Avenue where they do exist or are planned to exist in the future, because we don't want people dropping children off and having them in danger of being hit by incoming bikes. So we're proposing two things for that item. The first thing is a rumble strip so that bikers slow down on those bike lanes. The first thing is a rumble strip so bikers slow down on those bike lanes in DOT's proposal. Brooklyn and Kingston, south of Lefferts. Yeah, between Winthrop and Lefferts, you're right. The first change on those bike lanes is to have rumble strips installed so that bikers don't speed, essentially. And the second change there is to have the buffer widened so that there's a larger safe zone to stand in. So if you drop off a kid at school or pick one up, they wouldn't exit the vehicle and have a very close distance to a bike likely passing in front of them. Those two are just to enhance safety and keep people from going fast, because it's a wide street with a pretty long distance. You can expect people might be like riding pretty fast or even racing them. The last change was mainly to just downsize the number of lost parking spaces from 54 to only a few being around schools and places of interest. So currently in the plan that DOT had, they proposed to have daylighting on many intersections up and down Kingston and Brooklyn Avenue, which would result in about 54 parking spots lost, and the committee suggested we downsize that as much as possible. We didn't give them an exact number. We wanted them to submit a revised plan incorporating all changes so that they can give us better numbers in those cases. The amendment is, yeah, between that's correct.
Okay. How many people have questions? Because we're supposed to adjourn at 9 p.m.
Preparing to adjourn, so.
Either vote or table the discussion. We're voting to table the discussion till next meeting?
Yeah, it's not joining.
Okay.
Huh? I know, Mr. Chair,
Okay, we're voting to table the discussion until next meeting. Can we vote by common consent to table this? Anyone against tabling this until next meeting?
Express one concern that the table, we could vote on the other resolution from the park, and now we're going to table this. We're not really having enough time to talk about this. This is pretty important.
The best place to speak about this is in a committee. So, There'll be more time for this in the committees,
Okay, so we're
but we
going to
need to
table?
table the
The
discussion
motion to
until
table
next
is-
meeting.
The motion carries to table. All right. All right, next, we have, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Okay, I was trying to figure out which one it was. Other than that,
Just send us a email. Just give us a call.